Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to each of you for being here and for the hard work that so many members that everyone in your agencies are doing to help those people affected by these terrible emergencies. Deputy Secretary Torres Small, you had a chance to come to New Hampshire and to talk with some of our farmers. I was interested in Senator Ossoff talking about some of the farmers in Georgia who lost 20 to 30% of their crops. Well, we had fruit growers in New Hampshire, as you know, who lost 80 to 100% of their stone crops. Everything they lost in 2023 because of the freeze and late frost that really devastated so many of our growers. And because we have small farms and about 90% of our growers don't participate in federal crop insurance programs because the crop insurance programs have not really been designed to help farmers like we have in New Hampshire. Senator Collins talked about the same challenges in Maine. So how does the agency estimate accurate losses for states with high rates of small and diversified farms that have limited engagement with the federal programs?
This is an issue that's especially important in New Hampshire, and in my visit and conversations with fruit farmers in New Hampshire certainly saw that the insurance payments, insurance programs don't fully recognize the need, particularly when it comes to specialty crops. So our estimate of the 2023 losses of $10.7 million was based on the known and estimated insurance as well as NAP indemnity payments. And so recognizing that may not be the full and complete picture. We know that there was a cooperative extension estimate that was $26 million.
Right.
So in addition to continuing to work with your team, we also know that we need to expand those insurance programs. NAP is a fundamental way of doing that because it helps build the case for actual insurance programs in the future. We also just recently announced the CCC specialty crop program that'll be $2 billion to provide marketing support and assistance for specialty crops.
So does the estimate that's been sent to this committee for covering losses, farm losses, would it allow for a number that's greater than the $10.7 million that you've determined?
So the first amount is based on the indemnity payments and information that we have there. We also plan, if asked to administer an ERP, there's a second track for revenue losses, and certainly could consider that there.
Because clearly those numbers don't reflect the real losses that we're experiencing in a state like New Hampshire. Administrator Griswold, we have, I would like to add my concerns to what we've heard from a number of members here about the length of time that so many of our small communities are waiting. And I appreciate that there have been so many disasters that it's hard to keep up, but we have communities in New Hampshire going from the Canadian border in the north to the Massachusetts border in the south, every place from Pittsburgh to Ackworth, that have not yet received reimbursements, and they've been waiting for about 2 years. So what can we do to try and move those checks along? As everyone has said, these are small communities. They've been hit hard. They don't have the capacity to cover those kind of rebuilding costs, and they really need to be reimbursed once they've filled out their paperwork, and they need to see those dollars coming in.
Yes, Senator, we understand that these cash flow issues are critical for these small communities. And again, every community has their own specific needs, requirements, and paperwork that we have to have submitted. If you have somebody specific, I'm happy to look into individual cases to see if there's something that we can do to move it along. Part of our changes recently with increasing the dollar threshold on small projects helps to simplify that procedure. But we also have other mechanisms that we can put in place to do advance payments so they don't have to wait for the entire project to be done. If that's something that would benefit, I'd be happy to look into that for your particular communities. But we want to continue to work with you on how do we make this simpler as we continue to see more disasters happening across the United States.
And I think that's very important. These are communities that's my understanding have already submitted their paperwork, and they are in compliance. They're just waiting for their checks. It includes Dalton, Ackworth, Hampton, Gorham, Newton, Ossipee, Littleton, Pittsburgh, and Monroe. So it's across the state, and once once they've submitted the paperwork, it seems to me that they ought to be able to get the reimbursements.
If they've submitted all of the paperwork, they should have been reimbursed. So I'll look into those personally and see what we can find out.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And since I chair the Small Business Committee, I would just like to add for Administrator Guzman, thank you for all of the work that you're doing. Small businesses, as we know, are the heart of our economy throughout this country, particularly in New Hampshire. And we have, as you pointed out, more than 10,000 homeowners and small business owners with approved loans who are just waiting on our appropriation from this committee and this Congress to get to work rebuilding. So thank you.